Welcome to Highway Herald, your roadmap to the latest in auto. Today we're exploring a major issue with EV charging stations that's often overlooked. While electric vehicles offer an eco-friendly future, the reality of charging them is far from the smooth experience of gas stations. Instead of predictable refueling, EV chargers face grid capacity problems, inconsistent speeds, and competition for power. If you thought charging your EV would be straightforward, get ready for a reality check. Let's dive into the issues nobody's discussing. Number 6. The classic gas station experience, a reliable overview. To appreciate the contrast, let's start with a look at the traditional gas station. A familiar sight and the epitome of convenience when it comes to fueling up. Gas stations have set the gold standard for efficiency and simplicity with their underground tanks and dedicated pumps. Gas stations have been perfecting their systems for decades. At the heart of this setup are the underground tanks, which hold vast quantities of fuel out of sight but ready for action. Each pump is connected to these tanks via its own dedicated pipe, allowing multiple pumps to operate simultaneously without interference. This means cars can line up at several pumps, all getting their fill at the same time, without anyone having to wait or deal with inconsistent fuel quality. This system's beauty lies in its simplicity and effectiveness. The underground tanks ensure a ready reserve of fuel, while the dedicated pipes provide each vehicle with a full blast of energy, regardless of how many pumps are in use. This process is not only smooth and predictable, but also fast, an essential factor when you're eager to get back on the road. Number 5. The hurdles of EV charging stations. Now, let's compare that to the world of EV charging stations, where things get complicated. Unlike the orderly gas stations, EV chargers face a host of challenges tied to grid connections and power management. The reliable fueling of gas stations seems like a distant memory when you consider grid capacity issues, unpredictable charging speeds, and the competition for electricity that EV stations endure. Your sleek new EV, supposedly the future of transportation, hides a frustrating truth. Charging stations are like overcrowded, chaotic cafeterias. These stations are overloaded and barely holding together, unlike gas stations with their well-maintained underground tanks. EV chargers are directly hooked to the grid, with no buffer to ease the strain. It's like hosting a big party with limited drinks. Everyone's left wanting more. When multiple high-powered chargers are in use, charging slows to a crawl, turning what should be a quick top-up into a tedious wait. This grid capacity issue is a glaring reminder of how unprepared our infrastructure is for the electric future. Until this is fixed, EV owners will continue to face slow, unpredictable charging, making gas stations seem much more appealing in hindsight. Before we delve deeper, we'd appreciate it if you could subscribe to Highway Herald. Your support fuels our passion to create more content like this. Now let's explore number 4, the unpredictable nature of EV charging times. Here's another twist in the EV charging dilemma: the wild ride of unpredictability. Charging your EV can feel like playing Russian roulette with your schedule. Unlike a gas station where refueling times are predictable, EV stations are a different story. EV charging stations lack a fixed capacity, and their speed can be as unreliable as a coin flip. The grid connection is like a single high-speed lane during rush hour. When the station isn't crowded, charging may proceed smoothly, but with multiple high-powered chargers drawing from the same limited supply, it's like a traffic jam. The power is split between all plugged-in vehicles, so the more cars there are, the slower the charge. One day you might get a full charge in 20 minutes. The next, you could be stuck waiting indefinitely due to a strained power supply. This unpredictability can derail your travel plans, turning a quick stop into a frustrating wait. Whether you're late for a meeting or trying to get home, you're at the mercy of the station's grid capacity and other EVs. Number 3. Maintenance and reliability challenges. A crucial but often overlooked aspect of EV charging stations is their maintenance and reliability. Unlike gas stations, which have refined their infrastructure over decades, EV stations are new and frequently face technical issues and downtime. Recent data from the U.S. Department of Energy reveals that nearly 25% of public EV charging stations experience malfunctions or interruptions at any given time. Problems can include software glitches, payment failures, or physical damage. For EV owners relying on these stations for daily commutes or long trips, this unreliability is frustrating. Furthermore, EV charging infrastructure lacks maintenance standardization. Gas stations are typically managed by large oil companies with strict protocols, while EV stations are often run by smaller entities with inconsistent practices. This leads to varying user experiences, with some stations being well-maintained and others neglected. The impact is significant. An EV driver on a long trip may encounter multiple out-of-service stations, causing delays and detours. While there are efforts to address these issues with proposed funding for upgrades, EV owners currently face a mix of reliable and unreliable options, complicating travel plans. Number 2. Hidden costs and pricing variability. Another challenge for EV owners is the hidden costs and pricing discrepancies at charging stations. Unlike the transparent pricing of gasoline, EV charging costs can vary widely and lack clarity. Pricing structures at EV stations are inconsistent. Some charge by the kilowatt-hour, kWh, others by the minute, and some impose connection or idle fees if the car remains plugged in after charging. This variability makes it difficult to estimate charging costs accurately. Consumer advocacy groups have noted significant cost differences. In urban areas, charging an EV can be more expensive than fueling a gasoline vehicle, especially if the station charges by the minute and the speed is slower than advertised. The lack of standardization also leads to unexpected fees. Some networks offer membership plans with lower rates, but also monthly fees, while non-members might face higher charges, making EV ownership costs unpredictable. Regulatory bodies are pushing for more transparency in EV charging pricing, including standardized cost displays and clear information about fees. Until these changes are implemented, EV owners need to be cautious and understand the pricing models of the stations they use. Number 1. The strain of grid demand on EV charging. This is where the chaos of EV charging stations really shows. Imagine the grid as a crowded buffet, and everyone, your EV included, is scrambling for a share. It's not just cars. Massive industrial sites, entire neighborhoods, and office buildings are all elbowing in for their piece of the electric pie. The grid isn't an endless supply. It's a carefully managed resource with a finite amount of power to distribute. When you plug in at an EV charging station, you're tapping into the same grid that powers factories, homes, and offices. It's like a kid trying to snag the last slice of pizza at a buffet, except you're up against not just other kids, but adults, businesses, and whole communities. When big industrial users ramp up their demand, the grid's balance gets thrown off, causing your charging speed to take a hit. Charging your EV isn't just about the speed of the charger, it's about whether the grid can handle the added load without falling apart. So when you're waiting for your car to juice up, remember that you're competing with an entire network for a limited supply of electricity. The future of EVs might look sleek, but behind the scenes, it's a complex scramble for power. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe to Highway Herald for more updates and insights on the latest in the automotive world. Also, please leave a comment below to start a conversation. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the road.